Starship adventures. And well, what better place to go on an adventure from a Starship? I'm in Kingston, Georgia, and this is an amazing place here. It's called the Neutral Zone Studios. That's neutralzonestudios.com. And it's an amazing facility here where they have a complete suite of sets from the original series of Star Trek and in what they call the Constitution design, which is the design of ship that was. And if you notice behind me, I'm actually sitting in the captain's chair on the bridge. They let you sit in the seats, push the buttons. It's really cool. And they make fan films. They make all kinds of different films here. And they also use it, you can rent it out for weddings, you can rent it out for parties, and there's a lot of different things you can do here on the set of the Enterprise if that's where you want to do it. What a great thing. Could you imagine, I don't know if I could ever pull this off, but could you imagine a wedding where everyone's dressed in Starfleet uniforms and it happens right here on the bridge of the Enterprise? For a lot of people like me, that'd be pretty damn cool. I'm sorry, but that would be pretty damn cool. So there you go. We love coming here. This is our second time coming here to the Neutral Zone Studios, and it's just such an amazing place because they allow such access here to come and go to all the sets and spend as much time as you want. Do some YouTube videos, whatever you want to do. They're very accommodating and very helpful folks here at the Neutral Zone Studios. I've got several other videos. If you're interested, go back and look at my videos. You can also check out my wife's channel, Carlotta Alana, here at YouTube, Carlotta Alana, and she is live down here most of the day as well. And we will be back tomorrow to do some more live broadcasting from here. And we're shooting some video and doing some other stuff. So it's been a really good time here at the Neutral Zone Studios. Anyone can come here and they don't even charge. They ask for like a $20 donation. And of course, they're always looking for people to help them monetarily. And you can find out if maybe you can't make it here, but you have a little bit of money right now that you can help them out and you want to see something like this continue to operate. This is completely nonprofit, 100% supported by donations. And if you want to make a donation, go to the Neutral Zone. Go to neutralzonestudios.com. That's neutralzonestudios.com. And look down, there's the Patreon button, and there's several other ways that you will be able to make your donation to this studio so we can keep it alive. Anybody anywhere in the world can help us out by just making that donation. And we want this to always be here when people want to come see it. You know, this episode, this show, Star Trek, was shot 50-something years ago, and it still is relevant today. It's still being shot, new episodes today. There's over 800 hours of Star Trek out there available for you to watch. 800 hours of Star Trek. Now you talk about a binge watch. You could literally binge watch Star Trek for months and not get through it all. It's an amazing time. And for those of you who are not maybe into Star Trek, maybe give it a shot. I mean, it obviously is pretty good for all these people to like it. And so maybe give it a shot. Maybe it's something you might want to try out because it's a really cool thing. Star Trek was of course created by Gene Roddenberry and a bunch of other people. They all went together and built this amazing show in the 60s. Go back and look at the television that was being created in the 60s, and then go look at Star Trek and look at the difference. Star Trek was way ahead of its time, both in its ideology, in its special effects, in its acting, and in its producing, and the sounds. It was all way ahead of its time. Go back and look at Lost in Space, which was in production at the same time as the first season of Star Trek, and look at the fundamental difference in both production quality, acting, as well as writing and everything else that goes into Star Trek. I think that's what made Star Trek so great, was the fact that the production, the writing, the acting, the sets, the special effects, everything was on the money. And I think that's why the show has endured for so many years. It's just amazing to sit here in this chair. It really is. This is the second time I've been here, and every time I sit in this chair, I feel, well, I feel a little awkward. It's not my chair. I'm not a captain. Today I'm an ensign. But anyway, um, I'm going to take you on a little tour here, walking around the bridge to show you before the next tour gets here. We are open today and tomorrow here at Neutral Zone Studios. Come on by and check them out. The folks here are wonderful, and they'll be open tomorrow from 10 until 5, and then um, next month, there's going to be another tour weekend and a fan appreciation open house. You can check both of those out as well. Come to as many of them as you want. Give them your 20, give them $20 or a little more if you can muster, and help them keep the lights on here in the studio and keep this here for both us and our children and our grandchildren to come see what was so special about this TV show in the 60s that was made way back in the 1960s before many of us were even born. What makes it so special? No other show in the history has people building the sets 55 years later. Nobody. That's what makes this show special, and that's why this show is so much different than all of the other shows out there. There was great shows: Space 1999, Battlestar Galactica, Babylon 5, Doctor Who. There has been some amazing sci-fi shows over the years, but none of them hold a candle to the Star Trek franchise. And the reason is because it was done well, it was done right, and it was timely. It was done right as we started the quest for space, and Star Trek became part of the race for space, and that's why another reason why it's so important to NASA and so important to the government. Why do you think the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum has one fake ship in the entire thing? It's this one. It's the 16-foot original shooting model of the Constitution class Starship Enterprise. And you can go see it today at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C., where it has been meticulously restored, returned to its original glory, and LED lit so that the lighting, heat from the lighting, does not damage it in the future. And it's there for you to see at the Smithsonian. So go check that out. I got to tell you, there's nothing more amazing uh, than Star Trek. And being able to come here and meet all of these wonderful people that are into Star Trek just as much as I am. I go through life every day and I talk about Star Trek and people roll their eyes and walk away. Makes me want to pull out my phaser. But let me tell you, at the end of the day, you come here, you find a bunch of people that are really into it just as much as you are. Like when you go to a convention or something like that, it's really cool. So this is really, really, really an amazing thing. I'll just give you a little tour. I do believe there's going to be a tour coming in, and I will end this because I don't want to interrupt their tour. Um, but let me go ahead and put this up here, set this, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit around here. Let's see how we can do this. I'm going to use my tripod as a little bit of selfie stick. There we go. All right, so there we go. We're going to take a little look around Ridge. This is Helm, as you guys can see. Uh, Mr. Sulu, George Takei, sat here. And of course, the second and third season, we had Walter Koenig playing Chekhov, sat here. And there's your shot right there of the bridge, the shot from TV that we're all so familiar with, right there. And one of the really cool things they've done here is they used to use a green screen, and they would project or they would use a green screen. They now have a huge, I don't know, like 100-inch television now behind the view screen. So now it looks like we are in standard orbit of a planet, which is pretty cool. And the view screen when you're in here looks just like it would look on TV, like on the show. So that was really really cool. And then okay, as we go around, this is the secondary engineering console, and then there's the main engineering console over there. That's where Scotty would sit most of the time, and right there. And then of course the turbo lift, which was always a weird thing we talked about, why the turbo lift was not in the middle of the back of the bridge. Well, that's for shooting reasons, because when you shoot the bridge from the view screen, all you would see is elevator doors, and we don't want that. So they actually put the elevator off to one side. That's not really when you look at the design of the ship. So that was a little bit of Yeah, a little bit of liberty that was taken there because we needed to be able to shoot this thing from the front and not just see an elevator door, but to actually see our communications officer back there. That is where Nichelle Nichols sat as Lieutenant O'Hara, and she sat right back there, right behind the captain, as his faithful communicator, making sure that he was able to call out and talk to whoever it was he needed to talk to. Then we're going to come over here. This is the science console behind me here, and then to the left here, this console was not seen all that much. As you guys know, this side of the bridge over here, of course, this side's taken out. This is the backstage, but this side of the bridge over here, there's Carlotta. A lot of look at her shirt, guys. Can you believe that? She's a Vulcan in the streets and a Klingon in the sheets.
We've got doors. They started the engineering.
That's why I'm getting this one.
Yeah, well, they've got the doors closed, so you can't go out that way.
That's all good.
But they're starting engineering with them, and then they'll bring them.
Right. That's why I'm knocking this out because I was at the end of the tour. They do this last, of course. They'll take you in engineering and then they bring you down a hallway and they do a bunch of different things. And then you end up here in the bridge at the end. This is kind of the end of the tour. And I knew there was a big tour that just started, so I wanted to come down here and get this done before that. This, Mr. Spock's console, right? Where Leonard Nimoy played Mr. Spock. And what a great console. You can see here, this was the scope that he was always looking down in. Why do you think they used this in 1960? Why do you think they would have him look into something rather than show it? Cost. Whatever he looked at in here, he could react to, but they didn't actually have to make it. So they did this for cost. He would move this, and this was kind of like a mouse, and he could move it around, and he could zoom in on different things. This was basically the scanner, the radar, whatever you want to call it. And by using this ingenious method of filmmaking here, they would have him look in here and then react and tell about what he saw. And that way they never had to create any of those graphics because he saw them in the viewer and we couldn't see. We never saw, not once, what he was seeing in the viewer, which I thought was kind of interesting. Again, another cost-saving method. This here, actually this was spinning one time, but this spins sometimes. This is just two discs, one in front of the other one. Used to be popular in the 70s with little lights they used to make and stuff at Spencer's. But it's just two discs with marks on them. And as the marks pass each other, they make this cool spinning effect. And that's all that is. And then, of course, look at this. They actually have the tapes. The memory tapes are in here. They leave a few in here so you can pick them up and show them. And they go right in here. If we want to see what's on it, so we want to hear what's on this, we'd stick it right in there, and we could play it right on there. There's a lot of secrets, like what this material is here. What's this material that they made in the comms? Not going to tell you. That's something you got to find out when you come here to the neutral zone. There's a few secrets. Remember the conference table? Not telling you that one either. You got to come visit. Got to come visit. Got to come visit. And anyway, this was the rest of Spock's console. These switches here. They literally made these on a 3D printer. They're just sitting there, 3D printed. And it's really cool because these look just like they did in the original series, the colored rocker switches. Remember, when this show came out in the 60s, rocker switches were pretty high tech. Toggle switches and rocker switches. It was all knobs before that. And so this was kind of the big thing, was the toggles and the rocker switches. So what do you think, babe?
I'm having a great time. The tribbles are out.
Uh-oh, it's a tribble. And you know what? They're born pregnant. And yeah, that one's not born pregnant.
That's my kind of tribble. She's gotten her ripped out like me.
How'd you get one that was not pregnant? It's ripped out?
Yeah. Nothing around me's fertile.
Get that thing away from me. Or I'll shoot it. I don't want no bullshit today.
Don't sting my baby.
All right, so anyway, here we go. This is the bridge, and we're going to sign off here. We're going to be coming back. I promise you a complete tour of engineering when I get back, and we're going to do the entire thing. But anyway, we're going to head on out here. I'm going to take the turbo lift down to engineering. And when I get there, hopefully I'll have a cell signal. I'm just kidding. But yeah, we're going to do engineering next. And we'll see you guys when we get back. My name's Ian. I'm here with my wife, Carlotta. And this is Starship Adventures. And we are in Kingsland, Georgia. And this is the it's called the Neutral Zone Studios, neutralzonestudios.com. And you just go to their website. All the information's there. You can come here for just a donation and spend the day in what might be your ship of dreams. It certainly was mine. All right, we'll see you on the next one. My name's Ian. You guys have a great day out there.